The lights of the city pulse outside the penthouse windows, neon reflected in the black glass. A billionaire sits at a conference table, his wrists cuffed, face a hard mask of disbelief and denial. Cameras flash in the hall beyond, hungry for the scandal. The world knows his name, but tonight, no one utters it. Opposite him, a child stands awkward and silent, a girl, 8 years old, brown hair in tangled braids, clutching a frayed backpack. He built his empire on fear, deals sealed with a glance, entire companies toppled by his words. But now, under the sterile glare of the penthouse lights, the Tycoon trembles. The child meets his gaze. Her eyes are mirrors, unreadable, ancient, innocent. The billionaire's mouth opens, a sob escaping, ragged and unexpected. His suit, sharp and perfect, cannot shield him from the look of confusion and longing in the girl's face. A voice, neither the billionaire's nor the child's, echoes through the empty room. He built an empire, but he couldn't save her. Outside, the city lives on, oblivious to the storm inside. The cuffs bite his skin. The empire means nothing. He is a man staring at a child, terrified of what she means. No names. No answers. Only shock and silence. Across the city, the headlines break. His face stares coldly from the cover of Time, mouth set in that notorious unsmiling line. The world knows him as the kingmaker, the deal-breaker, the ruthless visionary who never blinked. But alone, in his glass tower, he collapses into a chair, shaking, hands pressed to his face, as if to hide from a world that never truly saw him. Outside, thunder rolls. Inside, every trophy and framed contract feels hollow, echoes of victories that cost him everything. Tonight, the storm is not just weather, it is his reckoning. He built his empire on fear and calculation. But now all he has is regret and a silence that drowns out the city's noise. On the magazine, his eyes look invincible. In this room he is just a man at the edge of ruin, haunted by a child's gaze that will not leave him. There are no words left, only the sound of rain on glass, and the truth pressing in on every side. Security guards line the hall outside the penthouse, earpieces crackling, boots squeaking on marble. The billionaire's name is whispered among them, a legend now fallen. None dare enter, their eyes darting to the little girl standing in the silent corridor. She is a stranger, but something about her posture, chin up, back straight despite trembling knees, commands respect. One guard said, "He never let anyone in, not even his own blood." Another mutters, "Who is she?" The elevator doors remain closed, trapping the tension in the air. Inside, the billionaire paces, haunted by every decision that led to this night. The girl waits, alone but unbroken, in the hallway where destinies shift. She listens to the storm, her breath fogging the glass, the city below, unaware of the secret swirling above. The past cannot be unmade, but tonight, everything will change. The child stands at the threshold, small hands pressed to glass, eyes lost in the city lights. She wonders who this man really is, why everyone fears his name. She remembers a voice, soft and broken. He built an empire, but he couldn't save her. Her mother's words, whispered in a hospital room she tries to forget. Tonight, the world feels too large and too cold, but the rain gives her courage. Inside, the billionaire sits in shadow, watching her reflection. He sees not an heir or a threat, but a mirror to every mistake. For a moment, neither moves. Then the door opens a fraction, and the girl steps inside, heart pounding, ready to face the storm that made her father a legend and a prisoner. For one suspended heartbeat, the billionaire and the girl lock eyes. Silence reigns, broken only by the distant rumble of thunder. He said, "I never wanted to hurt anyone." The girl's voice is quiet but certain. She said, "You hurt me." The world tilts on that truth, every victory meaningless, every loss etched deep. The billionaire bows his head, the weight of empire crumbling under the gaze of a child he never knew he loved. Tears mingle with rain on the glass, a silent confession, a desperate plea for forgiveness neither knows how to grant. The city spins on, oblivious. Inside the tower, a legacy fractures, and the future waits, uncertain and trembling, in the eyes of a lost child. The story shifts focus from the shattered Titan to the girl who carries his shadow. At 10 years old, Emily lives in a cramped apartment in a bustling city neighborhood. Her mother, worn and tired, juggles 2 jobs and endless worries. Emily watches from a cracked window as fathers walk children home, their laughter echoing down the street. She promised herself she would never be like them, never a victim of absence or regret. School is a battlefield with whispered rumors about her family's secrets. Emily's resilience burns quietly beneath her shy smile. One day, she will rise beyond this place, beyond the fear that clings to her like a second skin. But tonight, in the dim light of their kitchen, she listens to her mother's broken voice promising better days. The wound is invisible but raw, carried deep inside. In every moment, Emily's story unfolds, marked not by power or riches, but by survival, love, and a fierce hope that will not die. Emily's school day is a gauntlet. Teachers see a quiet child. Classmates whisper of her rich father who abandoned her. She hides behind oversized jackets and downcast eyes, a fortress built from silence. Yet in the library's dusty corners, she finds refuge in books, stories of heroes and redemption. Her heart beats fast when she sketches dreams of a different life on torn notebook pages. One afternoon she overhears a conversation, a rumor that shakes her world. Her father, a man she never knew, is not just a myth but a real person tangled in headlines and secrets. Fear claws at her, but beneath it, a spark ignites. Could she be more than the daughter left behind? Emily clenches her fists, the weight of destiny settling like dust in a sunbeam. Her journey of discovery begins here, fragile yet unbreakable. At night, Emily dreams of boardrooms and skyscrapers, worlds far removed from her reality. She imagines a father she never met, powerful and distant, yet somehow connected to her through invisible threads. Her mother's whispered stories float in the dark, of mistakes, lost chances, and love that never died. Despite years of silence, Emily carries a fragile hope that someday they might find each other. But fear also lives beside hope. What if the man she seeks is not the hero she imagined? What if he is just another stranger? The quiet desperation of a child's longing pulses beneath the surface as she clutches her pillow, eyes wide open in the dark. The city hums beyond the window, a reminder that lives intertwined in unpredictable ways. For Emily, the past is a puzzle, and the future, a question waiting to be answered. Meanwhile, the CEO's reputation fractures in boardrooms and newsrooms alike. Executives whisper behind closed doors about his downfall and the mysterious child who surfaced overnight. His closest allies grapple with disbelief, some sensing opportunity, others fearing chaos. The man who commanded billions now wrestles with a loss far greater than assets. Alone in his office, surrounded by cold steel and glass, he stares at a single photograph. A child's crayon drawing of a family, imperfect but hopeful. He murmurs, "I will make this right." His voice trembles with vulnerability rarely seen. The empire he built stands on shifting sands, but beneath the ruin, a new purpose stirs, a chance at redemption beyond power. The walls close in, but he is no longer the ruthless Titan. He is a father awakening to a destiny he never chose but must now embrace. Back in the city's underbelly, Emily's mother faces the harsh truth of survival, bills overdue, a job hanging by a thread, and a past that refuses to stay buried. She guards Emily fiercely, knowing the child's future is fragile and precious. Yet the secret she holds threatens to unravel them both. Late one night, she calls a trusted friend, voice urgent but weary. "He has to know," she says, "before it's too late." The phone crackles with silence, then a whispered promise of help. The world outside is unforgiving, but inside their small apartment, hope flickers. The wound of abandonment may be raw, but the first step toward healing begins with truth spoken aloud. For mother and daughter, the fight is only just beginning, and the road ahead will test every ounce of courage they possess. The CEO's world contracts into endless nights of relentless work. His office, bathed in cold fluorescent light, becomes a prison of spreadsheets, legal briefs, and hushed phone calls. Sleep eludes him. He loses track of birthdays, anniversaries, and friends. The child's image lingers on his desk, a silent reminder of debts unpaid. Every deal he makes feels hollow, every victory a quiet defeat. His empire grows, but the cost is etched on his face, deep lines, bloodshot eyes, and a voice rough from exhaustion. His assistant warns him gently, "You can't keep this pace forever." He only nods, driven by a need he can't explain. Somewhere beneath the ruthless CEO is a man desperate to make amends. But power demands sacrifice, and the price keeps climbing. The night stretches endlessly, and he wonders if he will lose everything he once fought to build. Meanwhile, Emily faces her own battles. Her schoolwork suffers under the weight of whispered rumors and social isolation. Friends drift away, replaced by silence and loneliness. Yet in her heart, a stubborn flame burns. She sketches in notebooks, dreams of a future where she is seen and heard, not invisible. One evening, after a particularly brutal day, she finds a crumpled newspaper clipping about her father. Her hands tremble as she reads. The words "ruthless CEO" and "scandal" clash with the fragile hope in her chest. She promises herself that she will not be broken by whispers. With every lonely step home, she carries a quiet determination to rewrite her story, even if it means walking through fire alone. The CEO's personal relationships wither under the strain. Friends and lovers vanish, tired of being secondary to his empire. At a rare dinner, a close confidant pleads, "You're losing yourself." He smiles weakly, admitting only in silence the truth he cannot face aloud. His mind is consumed by a singular obsession, finding his lost child and seeking redemption. Yet the harder he chases, the more elusive she becomes. Late nights blend into dawns filled with regrets and missed chances. Power once gave him control, now it only magnifies his loneliness. His journey is no longer about conquest but survival. Of hope, love, and the fragile chance to heal a broken family before it's too late. Despite his empire's demands, the CEO begins small steps toward reconciliation. He hires a private investigator, digs into the past, and scours old records. Each discovery is bittersweet, proof of missed birthdays, faded photographs, forgotten promises. His heart aches with every detail uncovered. Yet amid the growing pile of regrets, he finds a spark of hope. The child Emily is alive, growing, and unknowingly waiting. For the first time in years, the CEO feels a purpose beyond profit and power. The path ahead is uncertain and steep, but he is no longer alone in his battle. Somewhere out there a daughter waits, and he will cross every ocean, climb every mountain to reach her. Emily's life shifts too. A letter arrives, an invitation to a foundation linked to her father's company. She reads the envelope again, heart pounding, unsure if it's a blessing or a trap. Her mother watches silently, a mix of fear and hope. This letter could change everything, a bridge to a past erased or a wound reopened. For Emily, it's the first step out of shadows into a world of possibilities. She folds the letter carefully, a fragile promise cradled in her hands. The journey ahead will test her courage and redefine her identity. But for the first time, the child who once vowed never to be like her absent father dares to dream of reunion, redemption, and belonging. The foundation of the CEO's empire begins to crack beneath his feet. In a stark boardroom, his trusted co-founder stands with cold eyes, revealing a betrayal that cuts deeper than any scandal. "The business was never really yours," she says, voice steady but harsh. The room freezes as whispers ripple. Shares transferred in secret, deals hidden behind smiles. The CEO's mask falters, the betrayal stings like a fresh wound. His sibling, once a shadow in his life, emerges as the architect of his downfall. The empire built on years of ruthless ambition now feels like a house of cards. A silent thunderstorm rages within him. Trust shattered, legacy threatened. The walls close in, but beneath the shock, a resolve hardens. This revelation will not be the end. It is the crucible where he must choose to rise or collapse. In a private hospital room, the CEO receives news that shakes him to his core. His health is failing. The doctor's words are clinical but cruel. Your condition is serious. Time is limited. The man who once believed he was untouchable now faces mortality's cold truth. Alone he stares at the sterile white walls. The hum of machines a reminder of fragility. The empire can wait. What matters now is the life he almost lost and the family he barely knows. Panic and regret mingle in his chest. The clock is ticking. The man who built walls around his heart feels them crumbling, exposing a raw vulnerability. Every breath becomes a battle, every moment a gift. He cannot tell his team yet. His strength must mask his weakness. But beneath the mask, a silent promise, to make what time remains count. Back in the city's heart, Emily faces a storm of her own. News of her father's health and business collapse sweeps through social media, turning her world upside down. Schoolmates who once whispered behind her back now watch with a mix of pity and curiosity. Emily's resolve hardens. She will not be defined by the headlines or the sins of a father she barely knows. She reaches out to her mother late at night, voice steady but filled with fierce determination. "I want to meet him," she says. The words hang in the air, a fragile bridge between past and future. Fear, hope, and defiance swirl within her. For the first time, Emily steps toward a destiny intertwined with a man she must learn to forgive, and who must learn to be worthy of her. The CEO, weakened but resolute, calls a private meeting with his board. He reveals the truth: his illness, the betrayal, the lost child. The room erupts in a mix of shock, sympathy, and strategic calculation. A trusted ally stands by him, promising loyalty, while others weigh their own futures. The man who once ruled with iron will now must plead for trust, forgiveness, and a chance to rebuild. His voice cracks as he speaks, raw and honest. "This is not just business anymore," he says. "It's about family, about legacy." The decision looms large. Will his empire crumble, or will this confession become the catalyst for redemption? The boardroom holds its breath, the balance tipping in the uncertain silence. Outside the corporate towers, Emily and her mother prepare for a meeting that could change everything. The city hums with indifferent energy as they step into a taxi, nerves tight like coiled springs. Emily clutches the invitation, a symbol of fragile hope. Her mother's voice is steady, reassuring, but her eyes betray fear. The journey to reconciliation begins not with grand gestures, but with small, uncertain steps. Both know the road ahead is riddled with questions, doubts, and scars. Yet beneath the anxiety, a quiet strength blooms. This is more than a meeting. It is a chance to rewrite a story fractured by silence and absence. The past weighs heavy, but the future glimmers with possibility, waiting for their courage to unlock it. The boardroom is electric with tension, every eye fixed on the CEO as he stands to address the fate of his empire. His voice is steady but weighted with pain. This vote will decide not just our future, but what legacy we leave behind. Around the table, powerful executives exchange glances, some loyal, some calculating. The decision to relinquish control or fight to hold on is as much moral as it is strategic. Behind the corporate battle, a father pleads silently for forgiveness, hoping to mend a family torn apart by ambition and silence. The air is thick with expectation. Every breath, every heartbeat screams that this moment will change everything. Outside, rain taps the windows like a ticking clock. The CEO's eyes meet those of the daughter he barely knows. Across the room, in a reserved seat, watching with fragile hope. The boardroom holds its breath. The vote is cast. Fingers tremble, whispers ripple, alliances shift like sand beneath a storm. One by one, board members declare their stance, some offering quiet support, others withholding. The CEO watches every expression, searching for signs of mercy or condemnation. The daughter's gaze never wavers, steady, fierce, and unyielding. When the final vote is tallied, silence descends before the chairman announces the outcome. The empire will change hands, but the CEO's journey is far from over. This is his moment of reckoning, between loss and hope, between ending and beginning. As the room exhales collectively, the CEO steps down, his shoulders heavy but eyes clear. The daughter rises slowly, a tentative bridge between two worlds, now converging. After the vote, the CEO requests a private moment with his daughter. The room empties slowly, tension melting into fragile silence. She steps forward, hesitant but brave. "I'm sorry," he says, voice cracking, "for everything I lost, for everything I missed." Her eyes search his face, looking for the man behind the legend and scandal. "I don't know if I can forgive you yet," she replies softly, voice trembling with a mix of pain and hope. The space between them feels vast, but narrowing. He extends a hand, a silent promise of effort and change. She takes it tentatively. Outside, thunder rumbles. A storm breaking. A new beginning in the making. In a quiet corner of the city, mother and daughter sit together. The invitation from the foundation resting between them like a fragile bridge. The mother's voice is steady but filled with emotion. "You took a brave step today." Emily nods, feeling the weight of the moment. The past can't be erased, but this meeting is a chance to rewrite their story together. The road ahead is uncertain, paved with apologies and fragile trust. But in this small shared space, hope flickers brighter. Emily's resolve hardens. She will not let fear dictate her future. The foundation's promise is more than business. It is a chance for family, for healing, and for the rediscovery of love lost but not forgotten. The CEO stands on the balcony of his penthouse, the city sprawling below like a sea of lights. He breathes deeply, the weight of legacy and loss pressing on his chest. A silent vow forms. He will rebuild, not just his company, but his family. Somewhere inside, a father awakens from years of exile, ready to fight for a future he never imagined. As fireworks erupt in the distant skyline, the man who lost everything finds a flicker of peace. The empire may be changed, but the story is far from over. Redemption is a journey, and this night marks the first step on a road toward forgiveness, love, and hope. In the quiet dawn of a new day, the CEO walks through the offices of the company he once ruled with an iron fist. Gone are the cold glares and ruthless commands, now replaced by a softer, more reflective presence. Employees glance up, some unsure, others hopeful. He pauses by the window, watching sunlight spill over the cityscape, and feels the weight of what he has lost, and what he might still gain. The legacy isn't just the empire, it's the people, the family, the moments stolen by ambition. Daughter's image in his mind grows clearer, not as a shadow, but a light. Each step forward is fragile, painful, but necessary. This is no longer a battle for power. It's a journey to become the man he never was, a father willing to sacrifice all for love and redemption. Emily sits in a sunlit room, surrounded by books and sketches that capture her dreams and fears. The invitation from her father's foundation hangs on the wall, a reminder of the fragile bridge they are building. Her mother watches from a distance, pride mingling with lingering worry. Emily's heart pulses with uncertainty, but also hope. She sketches a new drawing, this one of a family holding hands beneath a sunrise. It's imperfect but full of promise. The past has shaped her, but it will not define her. She is learning that strength comes not from hiding scars, but from facing them head-on. In her quiet determination lies the power to heal, and to forge a future that honors both pain and possibility. The CEO attends a quiet family therapy session, the sterile room filled with the faint scent of lavender and hope. Across from him sits Emily, tentative but willing, hands folded nervously in her lap. The therapist's voice guides them gently through tangled emotions, grief, anger, longing. The man who once sought control now listens with humility, learning to let go of pride and open his heart. Each word exchanged is a fragile thread weaving a new connection. The daughter, once distant and wary, begins to see her father not as a myth, but as a man capable of change. It is painful, awkward, but deeply necessary. Healing is not a destination, it is a slow unfolding, and here they take their first real steps together. Outside the boardroom, a new chapter unfolds. The CEO's legacy is no longer measured by profit margins or ruthless deals, but by the fragile bonds he is rebuilding. Publicly, he steps down, passing the torch to a trusted successor who pledges to lead with integrity and care. Behind closed doors, he focuses on mending the family ties fractured for too long. The daughter joins him at company events, her presence a symbol of renewal and hope. They share quiet moments of laughter and tears, learning to navigate a relationship born from absence but fueled by a growing love. The empire changes hands, but the story they create together is just beginning, one of sacrifice, forgiveness, and the unexpected strength found in vulnerability. On a quiet evening at home, father and daughter share a rare moment of peace. The city lights twinkle outside their window, a silent witness to their tentative bond. Emily leans against her father's shoulder, a book open between them. No grand words, just presence, an unspoken promise to keep trying, to keep healing. The man who once ruled a ruthless empire now finds strength in softness. The daughter, once lost in shadows, finds her place beside him. Their future is unwritten, fragile but full of possibility. In the silence they understand. This is what redemption truly means. Not perfection, but the courage to begin again. The final dawn breaks gently over the city skyline, bathing the penthouse in soft golden light. The CEO stands before the mirror, eyes tracing every line etched by years of hardship and regret. A quiet voice in his mind whispers, "He left the company, but never left her." His reflection is not just a man but a story of loss, redemption, and fragile hope. Behind him, faint sounds of Emily's laughter echo down the hallway, a promise of new beginnings. He breathes deeply, steadying himself for the future. This moment is not an end, but a threshold. The glass towers gleam like monuments to his past. But outside the window, a child's hand reaches for the boardroom chair, a silent symbol of legacy past and reclaimed. In the stillness, a family begins anew. Emily steps into the grand boardroom for the first time, her small hand gripping the invitation tightly. She pauses, absorbing the vast space, gleaming floors, towering windows, the hum of distant conversations. This world once seemed unreachable, a place of whispered rumors and broken promises. Now, it is hers to explore, to understand, to change. The weight of her father's legacy presses lightly on her shoulders, but she stands tall, her brown braids catching the sunlight streaming in. Around her, executives and staff turn with curious smiles, sensing the new chapter unfolding. Fear and hope mingle in her heart. This moment is a quiet triumph, a child reclaiming a place she was never meant to lose. The CEO watches from the sidelines, a quiet smile touching his lips as Emily takes tentative steps toward the center of the company he built. Her presence is both a challenge and a beacon, proof that legacy is not just about power, but about love reclaimed. He feels the weight of his mistakes, but also the lightness of forgiveness beginning to grow. The child he never knew is becoming a part of his world, their stories weaving together with fragile threads of trust and hope. He whispers, "Welcome home," knowing the road ahead will be long, but for the first time, not traveled alone. In the quiet of the evening, father and daughter share a tender moment on the rooftop garden, overlooking the city lights. Emily's laughter bubbles as they watch fireworks burst above, painting the sky in vibrant colors. The man who once ruled with an iron fist now embraces softness, holding her hand gently. Their past, with all its pain and silence, fades beneath the night sky. Here, beneath the stars, they begin to rewrite their story, one of forgiveness, resilience, and new bonds forged in light. The empire's shadow no longer looms. Instead, love and hope illuminate their path forward. The final moment lingers, a silent stare into the mirror as fireworks explode beyond the window. The CEO's face reflects a lifetime of battles fought and won, lost and learned. His daughter's small hand reaches up toward the same boardroom chair that once held only power and solitude. Together, they stand at the cusp of a new legacy, one not defined by empire but by family, forgiveness, and love's enduring strength. The city breathes around them, alive with possibility. The story closes softly with a line that echoes long after the screen fades. He left the company, but never left her. The journey has just begun.